Zhou Yu, furious at being repeatedly outwitted by Zhuge Liang, suddenly fell from his horse and was carried back to his flagship. Soldiers reported that Liu Bei and Zhuge Liang were standing on a hill, drinking and watching the battle like a show, which made his anger flare even higher. He swore he would surely conquer Sichuan. Just then, news came that Sun Quan's younger brother, Sun Yu, had arrived with reinforcements. Zhou Yu told him the whole situation and pushed the army forward. When they reached Baiqiu, they learned that Lu Feng and Guanping had blocked the upper river route, and at that moment a letter arrived from Zhuge Liang. In the letter, Zhuge Liang advised that the expedition to Sichuan was unwise. Yizhou was hard to attack. Lu Zhang could still defend himself. Provisions would be difficult to supply from afar, and Cao Cao, though defeated at Red Cliff, was sure to seek revenge. If Zhou Yu marched far away, Cao Cao might invade the now empty Jiangnan. Zhuge Liang said he could not bear to stay silent, so wrote to warn him. After reading, Zhou Yu sighed, wrote a memorial to Sun Quan, and summoned his officers. He told them he was not unwilling to serve but that heaven did not grant him time, urging them to assist Sun Quan well. He then fainted again, woke, and cried to the sky, "Since heaven gave birth to Zhou Yu, why also Zhuge Liang?" After repeating this, he breathed his last at the age of 36, leaving his body at Baiqiu. In his final letter to Sun Quan, Zhou Yu recommended Lu Su as his successor, saying that Lu Su was loyal and careful, and could take his place. Sun Quan read it and wept, lamenting the loss of a man fit to help a king. Respecting Zhou Yu's last wish, he appointed Lu Su as commander-in-chief over Jiangdong and ordered Zhou Yu's coffin escorted home for burial. In Jingzhou, Zhuge Liang observed the stars at night and saw a general's star fall. He smiled and said, "Zhou Yu has died." At dawn he reported this to Liu Bei, who sent men to confirm it. The report soon came back true. Liu Bei asked what they should do now that Zhou Yu was gone. Zhuge Liang replied that Lu Su would surely take command, and that the stars showed generals gathering in the east. He decided to go to Wu, under the pretext of offering condolences, to pay respects and look for talent. Despite Liu Bei's worries for his safety, Zhuge Liang laughed that he had not feared Zhou Yu while he lived, so had even less reason to fear now that Zhou Yu was gone. He and Zhao Yun took 500 men and offerings and sailed toward Baiqiu, but on the way learned that Zhou Yu's coffin had been moved to Chaisang, and Lu Su already made commander. Zhuge Liang went to Chaisang, where Lu Su received him politely. Many of Zhou Yu's former officers wanted to kill Zhuge Liang, but Zhao Yun's presence deterred them. Before Zhou Yu's coffin, Zhuge Liang offered wine, knelt, and read a eulogy praising Zhou Yu's diligence in youth, his friendship with Sun Tzu, his generosity in giving his house to a friend, his early ambitions, his role in building Jiangdong's power, his defense at Baiqiu, his marriage to Xiao Qiao, and his decisive leadership at Red Cliff. He lamented that such a hero had died young, and that he had lost a true kindred spirit. Then he threw himself on the ground and wept bitterly, until all who watched were moved. The officers whispered that the rumor of deep hatred between Zhou Yu and Zhuge Liang was clearly false. Lu Su also sighed, thinking that Zhuge Liang was a man of feeling and righteousness, and that it was Zhou Yu whose heart had been too narrow. After the funeral rites, Lu Su feasted Zhuge Liang. When Zhuge Liang prepared to depart, a man in Taoist dress, bamboo hat, and plain shoes grabbed him at the riverbank and laughed loudly, accusing him of killing Zhou Yu with schemes, and now coming to mourn as if Wu had no heroes. Zhuge Liang looked closely and recognized Pang Tong, the young phoenix. The two laughed together, boarded the boat, and spoke at length. Zhuge Liang left a letter for Pang Tong, guessing that Sun Quan would not employ him. He urged Pang Tong that, if he felt dissatisfied in Wu, he should come to Jingzhou and serve Liu Bei, a generous and benevolent lord who would not waste his talents. Pang Tong agreed, and Zhuge Liang returned to Jingzhou. Lu Su escorted Zhou Yu's coffin to Wuhu, where Sun Quan personally received it, wept in front of the bier, and later had Zhou Yu buried with honor in his hometown. Zhou Yu left behind 2 sons and a daughter, and Sun Quan treated the family with great kindness. Lu Su then told Sun Quan he felt unworthy of Zhou Yu's recommendation, and wished to introduce another man to help. He described a scholar whose knowledge of heaven and earth matched that of famous statesmen, whose strategic insight rivaled Guanzhong and Yu Yi, and whose ability to seize opportunities could be compared with Sun Wu and Wu Qi. Zhou Yu used his advice often, and even Zhuge Liang greatly respected him. Sun Quan, delighted, asked who this was. Lu Su replied that it was Pang Tong of Xiangyang, style Xiyuan, known as the Young Phoenix. Sun Quan, having heard his name before, ordered him summoned. When Pang Tong came, his looks, heavy brows, dark face, short beard, and unusual features, made Sun Quan secretly displeased. Sun Quan asked what he specialized in. Pang Tong replied that he did not confine himself to any single school, but adapted to circumstances. Asked how his talent compared with Zhou Yu's, he answered calmly that his ability was quite different from Gong Jin's. Because Sun Quan revered Zhou Yu, he thought Pang Tong arrogant and dismissed him, saying they would call when needed. Lu Su urged Sun Quan not to waste such talent, and reminded him that Pang Tong had helped devise the chain ship plan at Red Cliff. But Sun Quan insisted that Cao Cao had chained his ships of his own will and swore not to use Pang Tong. Lu Su could only apologize to Pang Tong and advise him to be patient. Pang Tong sighed and first said he might go to Cao Cao. Lu Su argued that this would be like throwing a pearl into a dark ditch and urged him instead to go to Liu Bei in Jingzhou, who would undoubtedly value him and might help Sun and Lu unite against Cao Cao. Pang Tong then admitted that he had meant to go to Liu Bei all along, and accepted a recommendation letter from Lu Su before setting off for Jingzhou. At that time, Zhuge Liang was away inspecting the 4 commanderies, so Liu Bei received Pang Tong alone. Liu Bei had long heard his name but, seeing his rough appearance and reserved manner, he only gave a long bow and did not kneel, was not impressed. Pang Tong did not immediately show his recommendation letters, only saying he had come because Liu Bei was known to recruit talent widely. Liu Bei, saying that Jingzhou had only just been settled and there were few posts available, sent him instead to serve as magistrate of the small Leiyang county. Pang Tong felt slighted, but with Zhuge Liang absent he could not press his case, so he went to take up the minor office. Once in Leiyang, he ignored government affairs on purpose, drinking every day and leaving taxes and lawsuits unattended. Before long, complaints reached Jingzhou that Leiyang's magistrate was neglecting all duties. Liu Bei, angered, summoned Zhang Fei and ordered him to tour the southern counties, punishing abuses on the spot, and to bring Sun Qian along to help. When they reached Leiyang, officials and people came out to greet them, but the magistrate was nowhere to be found. They learned that Pang Tong had been in office for over 100 days without handling a single case, remaining drunk all day and still lying in bed that morning. Zhang Fei wanted to seize him immediately, but Sun Qian advised questioning him first. Summoned to the main hall, Pang Tong appeared still half drunk and disheveled. Zhang Fei shouted that Liu Bei had shown him favor, so how dare he ignore all county business? Pang Tong calmly asked which affairs he had neglected. Then he ordered all accumulated cases brought into the hall. Plaintiffs and defendants knelt in rows as he questioned and judged them one by one. In a short time he cleared all cases, with decisions clear and fair, earning the heartfelt gratitude of the people. Pang Tong then asked Zhang Fei, "Which matter have I actually delayed?" He added that the minds of great men like Cao Cao and Sun Quan were clear to him like words in the palm of his hand, so a small county was hardly worth concern. Zhang Fei was shocked and apologized, promising to recommend him strongly. Only then did Pang Tong produce Lu Su's letter. When asked why he had not shown it earlier to Liu Bei, Pang Tong replied that doing so at first meeting would make it look like he relied solely on connections. Zhang Fei and Sun Qian returned to Jingzhou and praised Pang Tong's talent in detail. Liu Bei realized he had misjudged a great man. Reading Lu Su's letter, which said Pang Tong was no mere county magistrate, but worthy at least of a senior staff post, he regretted judging by appearance. Just then, Zhuge Liang returned from his tour. As soon as he sat down, he asked how military advisor Pang was doing. Liu Bei was puzzled and said Pang Tong had only been drinking and neglecting his duties. Zhuge Liang laughed and said Pang Tong's learning surpassed his own, and that he had given him a recommendation letter earlier. Liu Bei sighed that he had nearly lost such a talent, and immediately sent Zhang Fei to invite Pang Tong back. Liu Bei personally apologized. Pang Tong now produced Zhuge Liang's letter as well, urging that the young phoenix should be employed at once. Liu Bei rejoiced, recalling Sima Hui's saying, "If one gains either the crouching dragon or the young phoenix, one can secure the realm." Now, having both Zhuge Liang and Pang Tong, he declared that the restoration of the Han was finally in sight. Pang Tong was appointed deputy military advisor to plan campaigns and train troops alongside Zhuge Liang. Soon after, a messenger from the south arrived in Xuchang and reported to Cao Cao that Liu Bei now had Zhuge Liang and Pang Tong, was recruiting soldiers and stockpiling grain, and had allied with Wu, preparing to attack north. Cao Cao was shocked and convened a council to discuss a southern campaign. Sun Yu suggested that, with Zhou Yu dead and Sun Quan leaderless, Cao Cao should attack Wu first and then Liu Bei. Cao Cao, however, feared that if he marched south, Ma Teng and Liiyang might attack Xuchang from the west. Sun Yu therefore advised luring Ma Teng to the capital by appointing him as general who conquers the south, then killing him to remove the threat from the west. Delighted, Cao Cao sent an edict to summon Ma Teng. Ma Teng, descendant of Ma Yuan, had risen by fighting Chang rebellions and became general who conquers the west, sworn brother of Han Sui. Receiving the edict, he consulted his son Ma Chao, recalling the secret belt edict to kill Cao Cao that he had once shared with Liu Bei. Ma Chao argued that refusing the summons would give Cao Cao grounds to accuse them of treason. Going to the capital might provide a chance to strike. Ma Chao's cousin Ma Dai, however, warned that Cao Cao was treacherous and that Ma Teng might never return. Ma Teng decided that Ma Chao should remain in Liiyang commanding the Chang troops together with Han Sui, while he himself took Ma Xiu, Ma Tai and Ma Dai with 5,000 men to Xuchang, camping 20 li outside the city. Cao Cao then ordered the official Huang Kui to serve as Ma Teng's advisor, and to tell him that Liiyang was far and provisions hard to send. So for the moment he would not be given many troops and should enter the city next day to see the emperor. At the banquet in Ma Teng's camp, Huang Kui, filled with old hatred for traitors, hinted that Cao Cao was a deceiver of the emperor and reminded Ma Teng of the belt edict. Convinced, Ma Teng privately agreed to a plan. The next day he would bring his army to the city gate, and when Cao Cao came out to review the troops, he would kill him on the spot. But when Huang Kui returned home, his concubine Li Chuanxiang, who was secretly having an affair with his wife's younger brother Miao Zhe, tricked him into revealing the plan while he was drunk. She told Miao Zhe, and Miao Zhe went straight to Cao Cao with the news. Cao Cao secretly set up ambushes with Cao Hong, Su Chu, Xiahou Yuan and Su Huang, and arrested Huang Kui's entire family. The next day, Ma Teng marched up to Xuchang's walls. Seeing red banners bearing the words Prime Minister, he assumed Cao Cao had come to review the army and rode forward. A cannon boomed, arrows flew, and Cao Hong charged out. On both flanks Su Chu and Xiahou Yuan attacked, while Su Huang cut off the rear. The Xiliang troops were split and surrounded. Ma Teng and his sons fought desperately, but Ma Tai was shot dead, and Ma Teng and Ma Xiu, wounded and dismounted, were captured alive. Huang Kuei was brought out, still protesting innocence, but Miao Zhe appeared as witness. Ma Teng cursed Miao Zhe for ruining a great plan, and lamented that heaven did not help him kill the traitor. Cao Cao ordered Ma Teng, his sons, and Huang Kuei all executed. Later, people praised Ma Teng as a loyal martyr who died trying to rid the realm of evil and repay imperial grace. Miao Zhe then asked no reward other than to have Li Chuanxiang as his wife. Cao Cao sneered that anyone who would sell out his own brother-in-law's family for a woman was useless and ordered that Miao Zhe, Li Chuanxiang, and the entire Huang household all be executed as well. Onlookers sighed at their tragic end and despised such treachery. Cao Cao then comforted the Xiliang troops, declaring that Ma Teng's rebellion was only his family's crime and had nothing to do with them, while also ordering strict guards on the passes to prevent Ma Dai from escaping. But Ma Dai had already learned the news from fleeing soldiers. Shocked and enraged, he abandoned the army, disguised himself as a merchant, and slipped away in the night. With Ma Teng dead, Cao Cao felt his rear secure and resolved to march south. At that moment, new intelligence arrived. Liu Bei was drilling troops and preparing weapons, intending to seize Sichuan first. Cao Cao was alarmed. If Liu Bei took Sichuan, his power would greatly increase and he would be hard to control. As he wondered what to do, one advisor stepped forward, claiming he had a plan to set Liu Bei and Sun Quan against each other, so that both Jiangnan and Sichuan would eventually fall into Cao Cao's hands. Meanwhile, heroes were stirring in Sichuan, and a new storm was rising in the south. The rest of this plot would be revealed in the next chapter. Summary. This chapter centers on 3 linked turns of fate. First, Zhou Yu's death and Lu Su's succession. Zhou Yu, repeatedly outmaneuvered by Zhuge Liang, dies at Baiqiu after warning Sun Quan in a final letter and recommending Lu Su as his successor. The famous cry, "Since there is Zhou Yu, why also Zhuge Liang?" captures the tragedy of a brilliant young commander whose grand plan to seize Sichuan is never realized. Eastern Wu loses its main military brain and must reshuffle its leadership. Second, the young phoenix, Pang Tong, joins Liu Bei and stands beside Zhuge Liang. Pang Tong is rejected by Sun Quan for his appearance and bluntness, then initially underestimated by Liu Bei and sent to be a small county magistrate. In Leiyang, he deliberately pretends to neglect duties, then clears a mountain of cases in a single sitting when Zhang Fei inspects him, revealing his great talent. With letters from Lu Su and Zhuge Liang, Liu Bei finally understands his mistake and appoints Pang Tong as deputy military advisor. From this point on, Shu has both the crouching dragon, Zhuge Liang, and the young phoenix, Pang Tong, greatly strengthening Liu Bei's strategic core. Third, the loyal yet doomed Ma Teng. Cao Cao fears Ma Teng's army in Xiliang, lures him to the capital with an imperial summons, and uses a leaked conspiracy to set an ambush. Ma Teng, his sons, and Huang Kuei die trying to kill Cao Cao, while the informers Miao Zhe and Li Chuanxiang are also executed as examples of treachery. With the West pacified and Xiliang's threat removed, Cao Cao is free to focus south, just as Liu Bei is preparing to move on Sichuan. The chapter therefore ends with all 3 powers adjusting their talent and territory. Wu mourns Zhou Yu but gains Lu Su, Shu gains Pang Tong, and Wei eliminates Ma Teng while plotting to break the Sun Lu alliance. Knowledge points. 1. Zhou Yu's death in the novel versus history. In the novel, Zhou Yu is angered to death by Zhuge Liang's repeated schemes and dies at Baiqiu after crying, "Since there is Zhou Yu, why also Zhuge Liang?" Historically, there is no record that Zhou Yu was killed by anger or by rivalry with Zhuge Liang. According to records of the Three Kingdoms, he died in 210 CE from illness while on campaign, described as falling sick during the march and dying from overwork, not from being outwitted to death. 2. Pang Tong and Sun Quan. The story of Sun Quan judging Pang Tong by his rough looks, finding him arrogant, and swearing never to use him is a literary embellishment. In real history, Pang Tong did have contact with the Jiangdong side, but there is no clear record of such a dramatic rejection scene. The novel uses it to highlight the theme, true talent is easily overlooked, and to justify why Pang Tong ultimately chooses to serve Liu Bei. 3. Pang Tong as magistrate of Leiyang. In the novel, Pang Tong is sent by Liu Bei to Leiyang as a minor magistrate, pretends to be drunk and idle, then astonishes everyone by solving all accumulated cases in one session, thereby winning promotion. Historically, Pang Tong was not tested this way. He was directly valued by Liu Bei and served in central staff roles such as chief clerk and later advisor, without the dramatic lazy magistrate episode. 4. The Crouching Dragon and Young Phoenix pairing. The famous saying, with either the Crouching Dragon or the Young Phoenix, the empire can be pacified, and the idea that Pang Tong's learning exceeds Zhuge Liang's tenfold are part of the novel's romanticized image. In the historical record, Pang Tong is indeed recognized as talented, but there are fewer concrete deeds recorded for him compared to Zhuge Liang, and his career was short. The strong dual sage pairing is largely a product of romance of the Three Kingdoms, rather than strict history.